Hi everyone, Extra Flaming here and welcome back to a new YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, we are going to be having a brief look at the next few months of Australian Test cricket for the men. And there are two very exciting series of Test cricket coming up. So let's go ahead and hop right into things. So before we go ahead and dive into all the fixtures, times and all that, we do need to get our head around the two series, who we're playing and where we're playing them. So the first series is going to be an away test series versus India. That is going to be about February is when that one is going to be being played. And then the second one is an away Ashes versus England, which is going to be a really cracking contest as well. And there is a big thing that I do want to talk about England as well in this video. So let's now go ahead and have a look at these fixtures. Alright, so we don't have teams or anything just yet, but there is team news going around. Mitchell Starc is expected to go ahead and miss the first test in India, as well as these Indian wickets are very spin friendly. So we're going to go back and have a look at the last game, the SCG, once we run through these fixtures. So there's going to be 4 tests in this series. The first one at the 9th February, then the 17th of February, 1st of March, and the 9th of March, and then the ODIs is the 17th of March, the 19th of March, and the 22nd of March. So that's what we're going to be doing. It's a bit of a it's a bit of a test and an ODI, which is how that's going to run. Whether we're going to run with the same team for test and ODI, I would highly doubt that. So I feel like there's going to be lots of players heading over to India. I feel like we're going to run with a very similar team for the ODI, but I don't think it'll be exactly the same. So as I was just saying before, very spin-friendly wickets in India. So let's go ahead and check out the last game that Australia played versus South Africa at the SCG, which the SCG is also known as the most friendly spin wicket in Australia, which will gear us up for these Indian pitches. So, of course, as we know, the pink test, it was a drawn test due to lots of rain over day 2 and day 3. So, this is having a look at the Indian series now. Usman Khawaja, 195 not out. Steve Smith, 104. Travis Head, 70. I feel like our batting lineup is perfect the way it is. I don't really feel like we need to make any changes. Khawaja and Warner up the top of the order. There is questions over David Warner's future, but I'm sure he'll do the Ashes and the Indian series. Marnus Labuschagne at 3, Steve Smith at 4, Travis Head at 5. Now, what we do from here is interesting. Renshaw, whether he goes over to India or not, will be interesting. And at 6, Carey in at 7, he can be pushed up to 6. He push Agar up to 7 and bring in another bowler. It is going to be a spin-friendly wicket, so whether Agar even stays in the side to partner Nathan Lyon will be interesting. Do we want to go for a all-rounder here that can bowl pace? Henriquez is an option for that kind of thing. Or Stoinis even, Maxwell, a couple of opportunities as well, maybe rather than a batter, because we did look to lack with our bowling, which we'll go ahead and have a look at the bowling now and see what really had to do. So we went Hazelwood, Cummins were our 2 pacers, and then we had 2 specialist spinners, well, only really 1 specialist spinner in line, but then Agar, he is a handy, probably bowling around. You could probably really call him. He didn't really get a lot of time to bowl though. And then Travis Head and Steve Smith also got bowled by Cummins as other options. And then in the second innings, same story, all the same bowlers. And then we also bowled Marnus Labuschagne as well to change things up. So showing that we need extra spin on a spin-friendly pitch is not too bad. But yeah, I feel like that Matthew Renshaw spot, maybe move Carey up to 6, drop Renshaw, and bring somebody else in which can bowl some pace, I reckon could really help us in this series. Alright, so India's most recent test series was between Bangladesh towards the end of 2022. There was a 2, well actually, let's start with game number 1. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start off with game number 1, which was the 14th to 18th of December 2022. They set 404 in their first innings. So KL Rahul in at 1, Shubman Gill in at 2, Pujara in at 3, Kohli in at 4, Punt in at 5, Sherez Iyer in at 6, Axar Patel in at 7, Ashwin in at 8, Kuldeep Yadav in at 9, Umesh Yadav in at 10, and then Mohammad Siraj in at 11. So one thing that's automatically caught my eye is that they bat deep. Ashwin can bat, Patel can bat, Yadav can bat as well, Kuldeep Yadav, and then Iyer, Punt, Kohli, Pujara, Gill, and Rahul can all bat well. Second innings, same sort of story. Rahul in at 1, Gill in at 2, Pujara in at 3, Kohli in at 4, doing really well with the bat, still having plenty of room to wriggle. Now, Bangladesh, India bowled them out really quickly. Let's just go ahead and have a little look at their bowling. Mohammad Siraj 3 wickets, 1 for Umesh Yadav. Kuldeep Yadav took 5 wickets, so he's pretty good as a depth player. Patel and Richardson weren't, and Patel and Ashwin, weren't that bad. And then in the second innings, Siraj got 1 wicket, Umesh Yadav got 1 wicket, Kuldeep Yadav got 3, Axar Patel got 4, and Ashwin got 1. Alright, so let's have a little look at their batting lineup again. So their first innings where they set 3 for 114, India, KL Rahul in at 1, Gill in at 2, Pujara in at 3, Kohli in at 4, Punt in at 5, Iyer in at 6, Patel in at 7, Ashwin in at 8, Unakad in at 9, Umesh Yadav in at 10, and Mohammad Siraj in at 11. So we're going to go to Bangladesh's first innings here. Have a look. Siraj took no wickets, but Umesh Yadav got 4. Jaydev Unkat got 2, Ashwin got 4, Patel got 0, and then in Bangladesh's second innings, Umesh Yadav got 1, Ashwin got 2 wickets, Unkat got 1, Siraj got 2 wickets, Patel got 3 wickets, and then India's second innings, Gill in at 1, Rahul in at 2, Pujara in at 3, Patel in at 4, Kohli in at 5, Unkat in at 6, Punt in at 7, Iyer in at 8, Ashwin in at 9, with Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Siraj still to go, showing their batting depth and flexibility. Alright, so now with the Indian series, I've covered that in this video. It's time to cover the men's Ashes 2023, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tests. 1 at Birmingham, Edgbaston, Lords, London, Headingley, Leeds, Old Trafford, Manchester, and the Oval, London. Those are where they're going to be played at, going from the 16th of June to the 31st of July. Alright, so this is the first test between England versus Pakistan, which we'll have a look at just 2 of these. Not going to go through all 3 of them, because that's going to be a little bit too long to go through. But just going to have a look at 2 of them, the first and the last test. And the first one was interesting. Now, England have adapted the Bazball as well under brand new coach Brendan McCullum and brand new leader Ben Stokes. So yeah, they're all about just hitting the ball big and boundaries and all that kind of cool stuff, which is why they made 657 in their first innings, which is something for the Australians to be concerned of and to try and bring in some bowlers that are economically good but can take wickets as well. If we have a look at this batting order, Zach Crawley in at 1, Ben Duckett in at 2, both making centuries. Ollie Pope in at 3, making a century as well. Joe Root in at 4, Harry Brook in at 5, who was just remarkable. Ben Stokes, the captain, in at 6. We know how good he is. Liam Livingstone in at 7, Will Jackson in at 8, Ollie Robinson in at 9, Jack Leach in at 10, and James Anderson in at 11. So now their bowling group. Let's have a little look at this. So they're bowling. James Anderson in that innings took 1 wicket. Ollie Robinson took 1 wicket. Jack Leach took 2 wickets. Will Jacks took 6 wickets. So he's adding a bit of batting depth and also a bit of bowling depth as well. So in their second innings, Crawley in at 1, Duckett in at 2, Pope in at 3, Root in at 4, Brook in at 5, Stokes in at 6, Jackson at 7, Livingston in at 8. Again, more batting depth there in their declaration. And then they wiped Pakistan out for 268. Robinson taking 4 wickets, Anderson taking 4 wickets, Stokes taking 1, Leach taking 1, Jacks and Root. Root was bowling in as well, interesting. Both not taking a wicket. So the third test saw England take out the series 3-0, again with their Bazball technique. Crawley in at 1, Duckett in at 2, Pope in at 3, Root in at 4, Brook in at 5, Stokes in at 6, Folkes in at 7, Rihanna Ahmed in at 8, Mark Wood in at 9, Robinson in at 10, and Leach at 11. So interesting there. We'll go to Pakistan's first innings, have a look at the wickets for England. So Robinson took 1, Leach took 4, Wood took 1, Rihanna Ahmed took 2, Root took 1 wicket. We'll go to the bowling for the second innings. Leach took 3, Root took 1, Rihanna Ahmed took 5, and then Mark Wood took 1. So this is an interesting toss-up here. England's side is going to be interesting. Crawley in at 1, Duckett in at 2, Rihanna Ahmed in at 3, and Stokes in at 4, with Pope, Root, Brook, Folkes, Robinson, Wood, and Leach still to come as they won. And, you know what, we may as well go and look at that second test. So this is now the second. This is the second test. Cruel in at 1, Duckett in at 2, Pope in at 3, Root in at 4, Brook in at 5, Stokes in at 6, Jackson at 7, Robinson in at 8, Wood in at 9, Leach in at 10, Anderson in at 11. And we'll have a look at their bowling. First innings, Anderson took 1, Leach took 4, Wood took 2, Root took 2, and Robinson took 1. Second innings, Cruel in at 1, Duckett in at 2, Jackson at 3, Root in at 4, Brook in at 5, 6 Pope, 7 Stokes, 8 Robinson, 9 Wood, 10 Leach, 11 Anderson, and we'll go to their bowling. So Robinson, 2 wickets, 1 for Leach, 1 for Root, 4 for Wood, 2 for Anderson, 0 for Jacks. So I reckon both sides, England and India, really do have great batting flexibility as well with that really order. We know that India bat deep, and depending on which team England take, they will bat deep as well if they choose to go for Jacks, Livingston, for example. So they do have plenty of options there. Do both sides. For Australia, I reckon the one thing that we need, not necessarily for the Indian tour, but definitely for that England tour, is to go ahead and find a player that can bowl as well as bat. Because, we do feel like, I personally feel like we are missing the absence of Cam Green. So I feel like we need somebody that can bat and bowl. Stoinis could be a good option. Henriquez, there's a couple of others. Hardy, for example, that could be players that could fill that void and have a crack in the Australian Test side rather than Renshaw. And I do reckon keep Agar in at 8 just for that little bit of extra batting depth. So there we have it. 2 very interesting series coming up ahead against 2 very good sides. India, which is a very good side, and England, which is a great side as well, and with their Bazball, it's going to make things even more interesting for the next few months of Australian Test cricket. So, yeah, I reckon this is going to be a really cracking next few months, and that will wrap us up today. So, thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Sending guys never miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much. Bye, everyone. Extra Flaming out.